first projects. They're going to be the splices, a 2-wire splice, a 3-wire splice, and a 4-wire rat tail splice, and you're going to be making 3 of each of them. All right, and if you notice on your packet, you notice I have a picture of this stripper. Okay, so when you're getting ready to do your splices, you see that when you measure the wire, you see how I have it marked from here to here on the stripper. And then for the terminals, it's here to here. So when you're figuring out your wire, how you use this, okay, you take and hold it, the wire up here, you put your finger here, and then this is how you know how long to strip the wire. Okay, so that's how you know how to properly strip the wire for when you're doing your splices, by using these to gauge it. And when you do strip the wire, you're going to be using the middle hole. That's for the 14 gauge wire. So you always use the middle hole in the stripper. Okay. All right, so when you go and you go over to the wire, scrap wire box, and there's a bunch of wire in it. You'll pull out pieces that students have used before on other projects. Okay, or there also might be some wire that's just already stripped out of the sheath. Okay, this white part of the insulation is called the sheath. Okay, you take your linesman pliers, okay, and you figure a length, cut the wires up to the length of your linesman pliers. Okay, if it's a little longer, it's fine. Same thing with your single wires. Okay. So you just take and get a bunch of wires and get them all cut up. Okay. Okay. All right, so once you get them all cut up, you'll be ready to start doing your splices. All right, now after you get all the pieces cut up, what you're going to do is you need to get the wires out of the sheath. So what you're going to do is grab the end, and you're just going to take it and strip a little piece of the sheath off to expose the wires inside. Then you could just pull the wires out. All right. There is one bare copper wire in there. You just put this aside for now because you're going to use this when you do your devices. Okay, when you do your splices, you do all the insulated, use the insulated conductors. So you have all your wires, okay, you got them cut up, okay, and then you take it and again strip a little bit of the insulation off, okay. All right. Okay, and you keep them all aside. So now you got your wires and you're ready to start to make your splices. All right, so now the first splice you're going to be making is the 2-wire rat tail splice. Again, you take your 2 wires that you start out with them as, you know, at least as long as the linesman pliers. If they're a little longer, it's fine. Okay, so first you're going to do, again, measuring, using your guide. Strip the insulation off each conductor. Okay. Now you have your 2 wires. Okay. What's important is that you line up the insulation. Okay. Don't worry about the ends of the wires. What's important is that the insulation is lined up. Then you're going to take it and bend the wire in your hand. Okay. So it's like that gives you more leverage so it doesn't spin. Now, if you're left-handed, you're going to hold the wire in your right hand. Okay? So then what you do, and this is whether you're right-handed or left-handed, you cross right over left, like this. Okay? Right over left, making sure your insulation stays lined up. Okay? Then you take it and twist the wire in a clockwise direction, which is away from you. If you're right-handed, you turn away from you. If you're left-handed, you're going to turn towards you. Okay? So again, clockwise direction. You can start it with your fingers. Then what you can do is take your lines and pliers and then slowly twisting, making sure that you're twisting the wires around each other, not just one around the other. You keep twisting. And then make sure it's nice and snug, there's no air spaces. And then what you're going to do is you're going to cut the splice, the length, the width of your lines and pliers. You're going to cut that end off. You let the end, so you see that it's the width of your lines and pliers. The reason for that is after you're done, when you start doing your projects later on, you're going to put wire nuts on that cover the splice, so you don't want any copper to come out of this beneath the wire nuts. That's why it's important that you cut it the right length. And you don't want to cut it too short because you want to make sure that there's enough copper to copper connection there. Okay? And it's okay to let it twist onto the insulation a little bit. So that's a properly made 2-wire rat tail splice. I'll leave these out so you could look at them. They'll be on my desk so you can compare it, but that's the proper way to make it. So you're going to make 3 of these. All right, so now that you're done with, once you make your 3 2-wire rat tail splices, you can move on to the 3 3-wires. Okay, and they have to be 3 good ones that are gradable. If you need to make 5, that's fine, because I want 3 good ones. Okay. All right. Okay. All right, now we're going to be making our 3-wire rat tail splices. You strip the wire the same way. Again, you use your stripper as a guide. Use the center hole again. Okay, and use your thumb as a fulcrum when you're pushing the insulation off. Okay, if you need to measure. Okay. So now after you get all 3 pieces of wire, and again, if you notice I'm using different colors, try to use different colors while you're making the splices, because it'll make it lining up the insulation a little easier. Okay. Again, you're going to line up the insulation. Don't worry about the ends of the wire. It's the insulation that matters. And if you see you're going to pile them up, like you can make like a little triangle. Okay. And then again, you bend the wire in your hand. Okay. And then after you bend the wire in your hand like this, again, double check, make sure all the insulation is lined up properly. Okay. So that's what's important, is making sure insulation is lined up. All right. And then again, got them piled up in a triangle. You grab with your lines and pliers, grab the end of the splice and just start turning it gradually. Okay, make little turns to make sure that the wires are twisting around one another. Okay? And then once you see that they're twisting nicely, you could keep turning. Okay. And you can see this, how the insulation moved on me, so I'm going to have to do it over. That's why I have you use long. Okay, you could cut it off, and then now you could reuse the wire from the other end. Okay, so you just start over. So again, while I'm getting this set up, to just a little reminder, line them up, bend the wires, and if you're left-handed, you're going to be holding the wires in your right hand, and again, you're turning the wires towards you. Because see, even though you're turning towards you, it's still a clockwise direction, so you make sure you keep the right direction. And again, if you're right-handed, you hold them in your left hand. Okay. See, as you turn, you make sure the insulation didn't move. See, I'm just holding it, and I don't care about the top because that's getting cut off. I don't care if these are a different length. And then here again, you let a little bit of the copper stick out from the lines and pliers, and you cut it. So this is a properly made 3-wire rat tail splice. So you're going to take it and make 3 of these, 3 good ones. And again, if you need to make 5 or 6 to get 3 good ones, that's what I care about. So I want 3 good ones. Okay, good stop. Okay, now we're going to start your 4-wire rat tail splices. So you get 4 colored. Now also, if there's not enough that there's 4 different colors, 2 of the wires can be the same, but there is some blue in there, so you get some 4-wire, 4 different colors. Now again, you measure it, and you skin all 4 wires, again using the center hole. Okay. Now, just like the 3-wire, again, once you get all 4 wires stripped, okay, you make them in a little pile. Okay, now it's going to be like a little square or diamond shape, depending how you look at it. Okay, and again, you want to make sure this one's a little important. All the insulation's lined up. You bend it in your hand. Okay, this keeps the wire from spinning in your hand when you're tightening the splice. Again, once you bend them in your hand, line up the insulation. Okay, and then again, you're going to take it and start twisting the wires in a clockwise direction. Okay, right-handed people, you turn it away from yourself. Left-handed people, you turn them towards yourself. Okay, again, same thing. I cut it off. The width of the lines and pliers to make sure it's nice and snug, no air spaces. Again, you can see when you put the wire nut on, while it's important, you don't have any copper coming down from your splice. Okay. So that's a properly made 4-wire rat tail splice. So you're going to make, again, 3 of these, 3 gradable ones. If you need to make 1 or 2 more to get a good one, okay, it's all right to do that. Okay. So you make your, so you've now completed, you made 3 2-wire rat tail splices, you made 3 3-wire rat tail splices, and you made your 3 4-wire rat tail splices. And now once you're done with those, you could take it and move on to doing your terminals. I'll demonstrate that next.